And hello good people of the internet. It is I, Tommy Kelly. This is Adventures in Boo Boo. And we are back in the forest again. I had a lovely little walk. And I decided I'd do a video, hence why this has been done on the camera and not the Osmo. But in fairness, Osmo's not great these days. The face tracking's terrible, so you can't do the walk and talk stuff. But the sound is much better than the phone, so we'll see what I wanted to talk about as I walk back down to my car, and we will leave possibly the beautiful scenery that is behind me. It's a bit dark on the camera, but sure, so be it. Is that why I enjoy forests? And the thing that I love about forests, and what I was thinking about today as I walked back, was that I love that Tommy Kelly disappeared for the most part. And I'm just, I suppose in a sense, just existing in a way that I can't exist in, I suppose, I was going to say in my normal life, this is also my normal life, but when I'm interacting with people. And I think the reason for that is that when you are interacting with people or you're in society or whatever, rather than around trees, what happens is you start playing a role in all kind of situations, in that you can play the role of son, you play the role of father, you play the role of brother, you play the role of work colleague, of YouTuber, of vlogger, of, you know, the weird one, the cool one, the handsome one, whatever it is. You know, you do so many different kind of roles in all the different things. I will sit down on this bench. That might make it easier. And when you come out to the forest, and I suppose any place in nature or anywhere that's kind of silent or people aren't around, then that kind of disappears. You don't have to put up these pretense. You don't have to play a role. You know, that tree doesn't care who you are. And so all of that just kind of drops away and disappears. And so I can just be kind of, I become less aware of myself. I also, when I want, I can talk out loud and I can explain how I'm feeling, things that are going on in my head, and by verbalizing it, I can work it out a bit more. It becomes a bit more tangible. It makes a bit more sense. You start seeing the things that, you know, don't make sense or aren't fully formulated. And that if you just kind of repeat them in your mind, you don't fully see it until you kind of say it out loud, and then you go, oh, well, that doesn't make sense, or that absolutely makes sense, and you make connections that you didn't come across. Whereas I find sometimes when I'm talking to people, while it's great and you can get different insights, what tends to happen is you're not, things can move and can be directed in a different way, and depending on who you're talking to can kind of make it, you know, and not necessarily about them, but they kind of direct it, and you're not fully getting to where you want to be. At least I find in many ways, not with everyone, but with most people. And you can just, while you're just talking out loud to the trees, you're just literally only filtering your own stuff. It's not going through someone else. It's not kind of being, you know, it's not someone go, well, have you, you know, and kind of direct. It's not someone else directing it. You're just totally directing it. And I find that very, very helpful. I also find talking to people very helpful, but the kind of different quality that you get to talking to a tree who doesn't answer you back or judge you or have no opinion at all on it. Although, that said, sometimes you do have these answers pop into your heads that seem to come from nowhere. Possibly your subconscious, possibly from the trees. It certainly feels like that at sometimes. And one thing I was today as well that I really enjoyed, I was sitting down, I was kind of cross-legged, lotus position, just beside a little stream on this kind of piece of wood. This kind of a tree that had fallen down and had this cool kind of dragon's head to it. It was all very good. And I just noticed I was just sitting there and I was doing nothing. Wasn't really thinking, I was just kind of lost in a stare. And there was this kind of need, or this, I felt that, oh, maybe I should meditate, maybe I should do something productive. And I immediately just went, no, just sit here and do nothing. Because sometimes meditation is also kind of another thing of doing something. You know, I progressed today. You know, I had a good use of my time. I went to the forest and meditated. And I think there's a lot to be said for just doing nothing. Because we're not allowed to do that, or at least it seemed in some sense that you should feel a bit shameful around doing nothing, that you're lazy, or that you should really be working, you should be hustling, you should be constantly going. I think of all places in the world to sit and do absolutely nothing, not meditate, not think, not try to work it out, not maybe do a video, not try to be productive, all of these things that I tend to do, just to do nothing. And that was wonderful. And then, of course, on the way back, I decided I would make a video about talking about doing nothing, because I fall back into the trap as I leave this place and I go back, and I'll fall into the roles and I'll fall into all the things. But hopefully, each time you learn a little bit more about, and you're aware, you become more mindful of the roles you play in, and maybe not play them as much if they're not, you know, helping you, or get rid of them altogether. But so yeah, I enjoy not being Tommy Kelly for a while. That's why I enjoy being forests. I enjoy talking to the trees, and I enjoy doing nothing. So I hope somewhere in your life you've an equal place where you can have those three wonderful things, and I'm sure there's a million other things that I enjoy about forest, but they're the three things that we're doing for this video. So yeah, again, sorry for the shaky camera, and talk to you all soon. May you be well, and may our best days be ahead.